All right, everybody, welcome to this month's online meeting. This month, we're going to be featuring some of our members. We'll be talking through some of the fantastic things that we've accomplished over the last 6 months. And we'll also be telling you how you can become a Redbridge Chamber member. So we do these online meetings because our strategy is to think locally, but act. Think globally but act locally. I always get it backwards. So we want to make sure that our global members are able to access information, meet each other, and just expose their business to the world. But as a Redbridge chamber, a lot of our members are Redbridge based. They are trying to build their footprint in Redbridge and network with each other. We're going to be talking to Hassan a little bit later. We have some other members online. But right now, I'm going to bring in Hassan, and we're going to just find out a little bit about who he is, what he's doing, and more about his business. So, Hassan, if you could just introduce yourself. I don't want to do all the talking for you. Just introduce yourself, and then I'll ask you a few questions about your business, and then we'll just go through some of the features and the benefits of being a member of the Redbridge Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much for having me here, Anthony. I'm Hassan Al Khorsand, founder and CEO of MSK Guestbook. It's a hospitality SaaS platform that focuses on streamlining operation and helping others get into property, mainly into property operations and hospitality, in a sense. It all was built upon my experience for the past almost 20 years. Where I realized hospitality is missing a key element of connectivity and accountability. So MSK Guestbook came along the lines of combining everything together in a seamless and effective way.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a chance to explain everything, but I just quickly wanted
Yes,
you to introduce yourself first. So, in one sentence, what is MSK Guestbook?
MSK Guestbook is a hospitality SaaS platform.
Okay, fantastic. So the reason why I kind of wanted to break it up is to give you an opportunity to unpack it in a way that people who might be watching online or people who join late can understand the benefits of what you do and who your target market is. Because in my experience in property, anyone who tells you property is easy is trying to sell you a course. And I know you're not trying to sell anyone a course. Property is not for everybody. It's not a get rich quick scheme. And it's not something that maybe like 20, 30 years ago, you could set it and forget it. You need to be working with experts and you need to run it like a business. It's not something that you can just buy a property and expect for the money to come piling in. So, as I said, we are the Redbridge Chamber of Commerce. And what's important to us is giving our members the opportunity to reach a global market, but also we have been focusing on doing quite a few events over the last 6 months. So Dave and I took over in January, but we really launched in March. And since then, we've connected over 1,000 businesses. And this is through our monthly mega events, it's through our quarterly expos, and it's through our annual business and property expo. So Hassan, so far, I know you're one of our newest members. If you could just tell me what attracted you to the chamber and some of the things that you've seen so far.
What attracted me to the chamber is the people that I am potentially going to know, in a sense. What I'm hoping to achieve out of the chamber is getting to know people that are within hospitality and within property operations who are planning to either go into it or are currently into it and require assistance with their operations, in a sense.
All right, that makes sense. So, as a chamber, can you still hear me, Hassan?
Yes,
All
you're
right.
breaking up, but yeah.
All right. Last time we had a little bit of trouble. So, what we would encourage everybody to do is make sure that you connect with us on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is one of our key ways of communicating with people. And most people view LinkedIn as the platform for business. So if you're in business and you don't currently have your LinkedIn profile built out, I'd encourage you to do that. But also just connect with us on LinkedIn. We have been offering more energy, more events. And the way that we've been doing that is through working with our partners. So even today, Dave is partnered with New Level Results and Metro Bank to deliver a workshop at a Metro Bank location. So these are some of the things that we do for our members and some of the opportunities that our members get. But right now, we're with Hassan, and Hassan has a platform where he helps property portfolio landlords. So if you had to summarize what your ideal client looks like, Hassan, in less than 30 seconds, are they a male? Are they a female? Are they just getting into property? Or are they someone who's been in property for a while?
Ideal client would be a male, someone who's been in the property industry or managing a portfolio of above 15 units and has experience in that. And in a sense, I would say, um, yeah, someone who's 40 years old, who's been in the property industry, who has a portfolio of above between 50, 20 and above units, and is seeking to reduce the tool stacking and increase efficiency, productivity without compromising cost or without compromising quality, actually.
Okay, and that makes sense because what I found with a lot of, especially startups, seems to be one of the problems that a lot of startups have. What they do is they're like, everyone's my client, everyone's my customer. And so they end up trying to target everybody and they end up disappointing everybody. So the fact that you are saying that your average or your ideal client, not to say you wouldn't work with other people, but you're saying it's like a 40-year-old male, they've been in the property business for about 15 years. And what would you say as far as how many properties they're managing? Is it one or is it more than one?
You see, MSK Guestbook is built upon managing multiple properties at multiple locations. So, in a sense, I mean, your question was, who is my target audience? I would say the majority of property operators who have properties under 70 units. Um, what I deliver in a sense is I deliver the right guidance and help to help within their operation to help them streamline it without me saying, hi, let me take over your operation, let me put my name into your operation. You can choose which name to put and you can choose how you want to do it. I'm just here to stop you from incurring extra cost in a sense. So in a summary, according to one of the persons I was speaking to the other day, I'm a consultant software where I help you rather than just take over your operation, and I work around you. So rather than giving you a one fit for all solution, I take time to understand your property. I understand who you are, what you do, what's your biggest pain point, and I will alter my platform according to you. So rather than giving you one big solution, I give you bespoke solution or modules or sub-modules to fixate the biggest pain point within your operation.
Okay, so if you had to pick one pain point, just one pain point that people come to you with and you can resolve quickly for them, what would that be?
The guest journey module.
Their guest journey
The
module.
guest journey module, because a lot of these operators that I've been speaking to, they tell me, well, we are advertising all these OTA platforms like
All
Booking.com.
right, so you're using a lot of jargon, and
Yes,
I do that
correct.
all the time as a broker. So for someone, and obviously your target audience is going to know what you're talking about, but maybe someone who's just exploring property, which wouldn't be your target audience, but just for the people that are listening that don't understand some of the acronyms, could you just explain what you mean by that?
Okay, in hospitality, the terminology OTA stands for online travel agency, which are Booking.com, Expedia, Agoda, all these platforms that bring you guests, to your doorstep. Essentially, you are paying anywhere between 15, 20, sometimes even 30% for the client to walk into your door. Where I come in is I say, since that you're already paying this much for that client, why don't I help you streamline their experience and make the most out of what you're paying for, in a sense?
So
But
what you so sorry not to cut you off. So what you're saying is someone is already using hotel.com, etc. So they're already on that platform. So they're
Yes.
already paying for that service.
Yes.
And you help optimize that service how?
By increasing the direct bookings and increasing the value for each client that walks through the door.
That's interesting because one of the concepts that maybe some people don't take into consideration as business owners is the customer lifetime value. And I've worked in banking most of my life, and one of the things that I know and most business owners know, attracting the customer is the most expensive part of the journey. So it sounds to me like you're saying the person's already invested quite a bit in attracting the client, and what you're going to help them do is optimize it by getting them more bookings and a higher customer lifetime value from that particular client.
Yes, and retain them in a sense.
Yeah, retention. Yeah, and
We
yeah,
retain
that
the
is the
customer
other
because
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
because when you for every customer that walks in through the door, you have to ask yourself as an operator, how far am I willing to go to get them to come back again and again and make the most out of what I have already paid for that guest. So so you have some operations where guests come in, they book a room valued at £1,000, for example, and they are paying £200 to the agent, which in this case, let's say could be booking.com. Now, as an operator, you need to sit down and think about how am I going to get that client who I have already paid for £200 to book again and maximize my output from that individual. And that all goes back to the internal operation. If internally is not structured well, is not streamlined, if there is no accountability and there is no if there's no track record of each staff member's performance, then essentially your operation will not be fit to maximize the output for each client comes in, because
So sorry, I don't mean to keep cutting you off, but so it sounds to me like what you're saying. Someone's paid for a customer. What
yes,
your system helps them do is optimize it by improving the customer journey. So
yes,
I know I book through these various platforms, and I'll be honest with you, my wife and I have gone on vacations, and there are bookings that we've done, but the people have never followed up with me. So I think they're kind of leaving money on the table because maybe if they'd followed up with me, I'd book with them again. But if they don't follow up with me, what's going to happen is I will go and search again and probably find a new provider. Is that kind of one of the solutions that you are
yes,
providing for your
yes,
clients?
yes.
Okay.
So if you the question here I have for you is, have you ever been to a Airbnb, or you've booked somewhere random, and you've encountered an issue, and there's only one point of contact who barely responds, who's been very busy, or sends you people just to, in a sense, make you quiet. What I do is I link you as a guest to all the different departments within the operation. So if you have an issue with housekeeping within the platform, you get to speak to housekeeping directly and see where the progress of your request is. If you have a maintenance issue, if you want to upgrade, downgrade, you want to extend, whatever you want to do, there is always someone there to assist you, rather than having, in a sense, a switchboard. Because in an operation, no matter how small or big, there's only one point of contact, which essentially is a switchboard. So I'm kind of bypassing that. I'm putting you as a guest in direct contact with the several departments who are managed by someone who's senior. It could be a manager, it could be a supervisor, whoever it is, that accommodates for your request. Of course, using AI to identify the urgency level of your request.
So your platform connects so you have a client who's a portfolio landlord and they're renting out properties. Your platform connects the person that's booking with them to the relevant departments that if they have any challenges, they can be resolved. So this brings me kind of into one of the concepts that the most successful businesses link into, which is NPS, or Net Promoter Score. So an NPS is where you look at your clients or your customers and say they will fall into one of three categories. Number one, there will be a detractor. So a detractor is somebody who just talks negatively about your business. The other category is on the other side of it. They would be a promoter. So this is someone who actively, proactively, even when not asked, talks about your business. But where most people fall is passive. Most people fall in the passive. So that means they weren't overwhelmed by the service. And so therefore they're not promoting it for you. But they weren't that disappointed that they would actually be a detractor. And the growth is in the passive. So it sounds to me like what you're saying, Hassan, your platform can help move people in the NPS journey from just being passive to actually being promoters, and more importantly, then booking again with that individual who's already paid to attract that client. They've already paid for all these platforms. So you're kind of like supercharging the booking.com experience and giving them a dashboard. We're going to get back to that. I just want to talk a little bit more about what we're doing in the chamber. So as I said, we're doing more events. On August 27th, which is today, Dave is hosting a really good business mastery session. That business mastery session is going to help people get up and running. And in October, we have our business conference. I'd suggest that everybody follow us on Eventbrite. And the other thing is, we know that most people who watch us are not subscribed. So make sure you like and subscribe. We can take a short break and then we'll be back with Hassan telling us about his platform for property portfolio landlord owners. So we also now are going to be adding Sir Dave, the Vice President of the Redbridge Chamber of Commerce. So Dave, could you tell us a little bit about the course that you're running today with Metro Bank?
Okay, so we have a free workshop at Metro Bank, which is called the 7 Steps to Business Mastery. And essentially a lot of small business owners or larger business owners as well spend a lot of their time running the business and working in the business. So what we're inviting people to do is come along and spend an hour and a half with us, 45 minutes of which we will spend taking a step back from constantly working in the business and firefighting, and think a little bit more strategically about the sort of vision and direction of the business. And then obviously we have the opportunity for owners to connect with other business owners and network and do all that good stuff, build the relationships.
Excellent. So I know we also have Sham. I'm not sure if Sham wants to say anything, but the key thing that we are trying to make sure that people realize in the Redbridge Chamber of Commerce is, as you said, Dave, it's not just about working in your business, but it's also about working on your business, being strategic. So these sessions where people take time out to come sit down, look at their processes is really important. And so I just think the fact that you're doing this and taking time out of your day and giving this to Chambers members is invaluable. And I know that you also did a session yesterday where you were working with SBI Bank UK. And just tell us a little bit about how the session went yesterday.
So it's a really good session. Listen, there's always one of the big challenges when you offer something for free is whether or not people value that and turn up, right? And there's always that balance. We had fewer people than signed up and fewer people than expected. But one of the powerful things that happened for me was actually I invited the bank's team to take part in the workshop, and they got a lot out of it, which kind of shows the value of what we're doing. So it's not just for small business owners. It is something, if you're leading a team or managing a team in a larger organization, this workshop would also work really well to help you think about sort of the values and the relationships within that team. So for me, that was a really powerful outcome.
Thank you. And as most people who are watching will know and see, we've been doing a lot of work over the last 6 months. So if you're not a chamber member currently, remember, one of the features that we have is we feature our members. So we do an email blast, we do a newsletter. We also have a magazine where we feature our members to raise their profile, to give them more exposure. We also have a WhatsApp community where we allow people to communicate with each other. This is where people can get referrals. Over the next couple of weeks, we're doing a property investor briefing. We're doing quite a few things, and Hassan is one of the people that will be sponsoring the property investor briefing. We have socials. There's a range of different things that people are able to participate in. And we're not here to compete with BNI or YBC or FSB or any of those organizations. In fact, we regularly reach out to them that we can do things in collaboration. What we want to do is supercharge those memberships. So yes, our membership is probably at the lower end of the price range. So it's about £150 for most of our members, which is less than, as Dave would say, a cup of coffee or two, depending on where you go per month. But what that then means is that £1,500 or £2,000 that you're paying to these other membership organizations per year, we can help you supercharge that investment. So we're not here to compete with them. Instead, we're here to help you supercharge those relationships. The other thing that we offer, as I've been saying, is training and support. So we do big sessions, we do smaller sessions like the session that Dave did yesterday and is also doing today. So that training and support is very important if you have a smaller business. And it's not always well suited for our big mega events where there's 100 or 120 people there. These sessions are smaller. And also there's another thing that Dave has launched, which I'm really excited about, which is the pods. Could you tell us a little bit about the pods and who might those pods appeal to?
So essentially what we're doing is we're launching what we call mastermind pods. So this is groups of up to 10 business owners, ideally. And we meet once a month as a small group and we support each other through the next 12 months of the business journey. And, often the big challenges for business owners, the first one is you don't know what you don't know. So it gives the opportunity for the sharing of knowledge between experienced business owners. The second one is it's incredibly lonely because no one really gets what you do. And, your friends and family think you're a millionaire. And so you're dealing with a lot all the time and there's a lot of pressure. So we build that tight-knit network of support. And the third one is it's really valuable to have that opportunity to have other experienced business owners just to bounce ideas off and sort of work through challenges, but also opportunities. And then the other thing that we do is we try and encourage business owners of different sectors so that then we can form collaborations, or even sometimes business owners of the same sectors who serve different clients. So for example, if you've got a legal team who does property and you've got a legal team who does family law and you've got a legal team who do any of the other sort of, criminal defense, they often will get inquiries that they are not suited to their line of work. So they'll be able to cross-refer to other people within that pod. And it's all tied together with everyone having their own one-page plan. Together.
It's almost like you read my mind, because when you were speaking, I was going to refer back to a conversation that you and I had with the Redbridge Council recently when we were talking through just having a more joined up approach between the council, the chamber, and Ilford Bid. And you were talking about the pods and that concept or that idea of, do you have similar businesses in there? Or do you have, is it more exclusive like BNI where only one person gets a seat? And you brought something up just now, and it's something that I tend to say to people. Like, I understand that a lot of the business groups, part of the USP is the fact that you're the only person in the group that does the thing. And that's great, not knocking it. One of the things that we leverage collaboration, because the truth of the matter is, especially let's just say an accountant, not every accountant wants to help somebody register their business with Companies House. For the bigger firms, me or Dave or Asari or Hassan registering our business with Companies House is not the best use of their time. So you have accountants on different levels. So sometimes when people are talking to Dave and I about joining the chamber, they're like, yeah, but there's another X in the chamber. But that's an opportunity for growth. That's an opportunity for cross referrals, because maybe that bigger firm, because they get a lot of traffic and they get a lot of questions, they can refer those bits of business that they're never going to do. They're never going to do that small piece of business. You can now have a huge firm who's consistently referring business to you for people that they're not going to do business with. So I think that's a great point. Did you want to add anything to that, Dave?
Yeah, the word competition comes from the Latin, I think I've said this before on this podcast, the Latin word compare, which means to strive together. And often we're so blinded by the fact that other people do something similar or the same as us that we don't ever think about how we can support each other and collaborate in doing that. And I think we miss a lot of opportunities. And I think especially in retail, you'll have two high street food chains or fast food outlets, and they're always thinking about competition, but without thinking what people really want is an experience now. What people would leave their house for is an experience. So in order to do that, working together to build something special that works together can be a really powerful thing.
Excellent. We're going to bring Hassan back in because I really want him to just get another opportunity to tell property investors about his platform. We'll be right back. But as I said, most people who watch our content are not subscribers. So just take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you support it and make sure you like and comment, because that tells the YouTube algorithm that what we're doing is valued. All right, so we are back with Hassan. So Hassan, could you just remind us the name of your platform and very briefly who your target audience is?
Name of platform is MSK Guestbook. Target audience are those who are in the hospitality industry, mainly property operations, who have multiple platforms and multiple tools that they are using and are not connected together. So I come in, I streamline the operation, I reduce the tool stacking, increase accountability, reduce cost, and increase quality of the operation in a nutshell.
Okay, and how would someone get in contact with you?
Via email, hassan@mskguestbook.com. And I will first initiate a operational intelligence report where I study the operation, see where they stand internally and externally, provide my recommendation, and see whether MSK Guestbook can in fact assist them and produce a substantial result, because MSK Guestbook is built upon personal experience. So I much prefer getting to know the individual and applying the modules that are most effective to them specifically, rather than giving them a one-fit-all solution.
All right, so you provide a turnkey solution, which is really important, because I know a lot of property investors, especially with the Renters Reform Act and the other things that are going on in the market, are looking for ways to maximize the return on the investment they've already made. This is one of the reasons why we're doing the Property Investors Briefing. And we're doing that next month. We're doing it in conjunction with Charles Crown Financial and BM Solutions and the NRLA. So this is for anyone who is a property investor who is looking for ways to make sure that they're future-proofing their business. As a property investor, you can no longer just think that it's a set it and forget it a proposition. It is something that you're going to need to put the work in. So we're going to have a panel of experts. We're going to have people that are not there trying to sell you a course. So I just want to stress that to people. They're not there selling you a course. BM Solutions is one of the top providers of portfolio landlord mortgages, and they're going to be there talking about some of their new tools around EPC. I'll be there talking about some of the things to look out for as a property landlord or a portfolio owner, as far as things to consider with the changes. Maybe you haven't really taken the whole renters reform thing seriously, or maybe you've taken it so seriously that you've stopped renting out your property because you're so concerned that someone might move in there and you don't have the right protections in place. But either way, we will be going through all of those things. At the Redbridge Chamber of Commerce, membership has its benefits. We like to make sure that our members are benefiting from their membership. So one of the ways that they can benefit is through being able to talk about their business in our meetings or online. And we then use this content to promote their business. If you speak at one of our events, we try to capture some great optics that, again, you have something that you can use on social media. I speak at a lot of events, and usually I'm there by myself if Dave is unavailable, which he usually is because he's quite busy. So I'll speak at an event and have no images, have no video. We have a solution to that. If you are a Chambers member, founder level or up, You get to speak at our events, you get to host our events, you get to be on panels, you get to be featured. But in addition to that, we will support you with the optics. So we'll usually film it, we'll usually get some photography, and we will post it, but we'll also give it to you that you can use it on your social media. Getting content can be difficult if you don't have support, and you don't have to pay someone £250 a month when you could be a chamber member for £150 a year and get a lot of those things done for you. My name is Anthony Lindsay, and we're going to be wrapping up, but I just want to make sure that anyone that's watching has subscribed and that you do understand that although we are a local chamber in Redbridge and we work very closely with the council, with Ilford Bid, with Hainault Bid, and with the other organizations within Redbridge, we are also globally minded. So you can join us, even if you're not in the UK. You can host an online event. You can reach out to us and we can tell you how to do that. And we also have subgroups. So the subgroups are there and they exist because of what Dave was talking about earlier. You have people who might have similar business types or complementary business types. And then those subgroups will enable them to work together and build products together. Dave told us a little bit about the mastermind pods, and that's a outgrowth of the subgroup. Subgroups that we have is we have a Gen Z subgroup, we have a retail subgroup, which is headed by Asari, we have a business services subgroup, which is headed by Carlos, we have property and finance, which I head, and we have a women in business subgroup, and we have some other ones, including our charity and social. As a member, you get access to our WhatsApp community. The WhatsApp community is a great place to be able to speak to other members directly. It's not spammy. We're not going to tell you happy birthday and everyone's responding saying happy birthday. We keep it business focused. It's really well moderated. And it's there to give you access to other members immediately. So if you're doing an event or if you need support with a particular thing, you can access the members directly. I'm going to hand over to Dave because I know that Dave has some plans over the next couple of months and he's worked out some really good partnerships with some big events. So I'm going to let you, Dave, just tell us a little bit about some of the partnerships you're working on, if you can say the names, and some of the partnerships you've already secured.
So, yeah, I mean, we are starting to work more closely with the council, which is always really good. And we've got a couple of events that we're lining up, and we're also making sure that our calendar syncs with their calendar, so we're not overlapping and we're not sort of stealing limelight from each other. Because what we really want to do in Redbridge is create a synchronized approach to business support, so that rather than people being like, well, I could go here, here, and here, we follow one streamlined process. So businesses are getting support, but we're not stepping on each other's toes, which is really important to us. We've got a partnership that we're starting with Grow London Local. If you're not aware of Grow London Local, that's the Mayor of London's initiative to support small businesses. So they will be present at our events and we will be more present at their events. We have a partnership with the Business Show, which is happening at the Excel in November, and we'll be sending links around to our members for that. Really, really valuable opportunity for businesses in the UK, in London, in Redbridge, to access businesses on a global scale as well. And then we're also building partnerships with organizations in the Middle East. So we had someone at our meeting a couple of months ago who was from Dubai, and we're looking at supporting businesses in London access markets in the Middle East and across North Africa. So those are really exciting stuff in the pipeline.
Excellent. And you're doing a really good job. So I'd encourage everybody watching, if you're not currently a member, to become a member. We're working really hard. We're growing very quickly. There's lots of opportunities for an investment of, as I said, less than the price of 2 cups of coffee per month. You can be a member for a year. On occasion, and usually at our live events, we do tend to offer an additional 6 months or some type of incentive. But even without that incentive, the membership is really valuable. It's a good opportunity to get support from other businesses, because you'll have businesses who also are growing, but they might be one step ahead of you. One of the things that I really lean into is trying to connect myself with people that are 1 or 2 steps ahead of me. love Russell Brunson, I love Robert Kiyosaki, all these people that have been multimillionaires for decades. But do they really understand what it's like to start a business in 2026 now that AI exists, or start a property business in 2026 when people are using tools like the MSK guest book? They won't understand those things. That's why connecting with people like Hassan, Dave, Asari, myself, who might be maybe one step behind you or maybe one step ahead of you on the same level, it's a good opportunity to be able to bounce ideas off people, get real feedback, because your friends and your family will lie to you. Your friends and your family will lie to you, not because they want to lie to you, but they don't know what they're talking about a lot of the times. They want you to succeed, and they're not your target audience a lot of the time. So they're not going to give you the best advice. Whereas if you come to our meetings, one of the things that we do at some of our meetings is we give someone an opportunity to come to the front, tell us a little bit about their business, and we as an audience with no hidden agenda will give them feedback or maybe explain some opportunities that they might have. I'm going to go over to Hassan, who's going to quickly just give a quick summary of who he is, what he does, and how to get in contact with him. And then Dave and I will close out the meeting.
Yeah, thank you, Anthony. I'm Hassan Al Khorsan, CEO and founder of MSK Guestbook, a hospitality SaaS platform. The way you can get contact with me is via email, hassan@mskguestbook.com. But one thing I would like to say is I want you to ask yourself, how much do you value your time? MSK Guestbook is built upon saving that and giving you more control over your operation or over your asset without having to bring in third party or tool stacking. So this is why I'm in a nutshell.
Excellent. And if you are already a Chambers member, you can contact Hassan through the WhatsApp group. And so, Dave, what would you say are the two top benefits that in talking to members at the meetings and just answering their emails, what would you say are the two top benefits that people are super excited about?
I mean, the first is the opportunity to meet other business owners and build those positive, valuable relationships, right? So you never know who you're talking to. You don't know, you're connected to everyone on the planet by 5 degrees of separation. And so even if that person you're talking to isn't your target market, they will know people who can bring you business. So it grows your business, talking to people, having relationships, building conversations. And then the second one is the marketing. We have the built-in marketing for you. You present to the room, you get those photos taken, delivered to you. The interviews that we take are delivered to you, and you are able to remarket and use those for your own publicity. So two really valuable assets of being a member.
Yeah, and those are the two that I would say. But there's one that people underutilize. I've talked about it quite a few times, is the WhatsApp group. I regularly get emails or get messages. Oh, Anthony, could you, plug my event, or could you, do this for me? And I'm like, you have access to everyone that I have access to in the WhatsApp group. Now, we don't want people that are just dropping promotion all the time, because nobody wants that. Like, nobody wants a WhatsApp group where it's just a bunch of random sales. It's not that. Instead, what we want to be able to do is share valuable insight. So as a mortgage broker, one of the things that I do, which is why I get about 70% of all of my clients through my WhatsApp groups. So one of the things that I do is I just share information that people need to know. I establish myself as a key person of influence. How do I do that? I do that by things like when the Bank of England reviews the base rate, I might do a post and say, the Bank of England has kept the base rate at X. This is what this means to you. I don't say, come to me and do a mortgage. I don't say, I specialize in first-time buyers. I just share information. And the thing that people don't always appreciate, that in the WhatsApp group, you have to give people an opportunity to get to know you. So people buy people. The first time you join and the first time you post, you're not going to get a flood of responses. But over time, if you establish yourself as a key person of influence, a knowledgeable person, a consistent person, what you'll find is maybe they won't do business with you, but when somebody needs your product or service, which they completely understand because you've been consistent, they'll be able to refer people to you. So I would just encourage everybody who is currently a member to utilize the WhatsApp group. And if you're not a member, that is one of the many benefits that you get from being a Redbridge Chamber of Commerce member. We think globally, we act locally. We are here to help enhance your business, give you referrals, and help you run your business better. So we're going to close out now. I appreciate everyone who is watching. Make sure you read the description, because we will have information on how to get in touch with Hassan. We'll have information on how to join the chamber, and who knows, we may just have some type of promotion code where you can get an additional 6 months. If you are in Redbridge, make sure you join us for one of our mega events. We have a conference coming up in October, and Eventbrite is the place to find everything that we're doing, including our member events, because we do like to promote and support our members who are doing events independently. My name's Anthony Lindsay, and this is
David Corbishley.
And we are the Redbridge Chamber of Commerce, and we appreciate you watching. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this with anyone you know who's running a business.